My name's Sonny Robbins and welcome to Okichitaw. Today we're going to be going over some of the weapon techniques. I'm going to make sure that we break them down for you so that you guys can really see how things are done. We have other videos on YouTube and stuff that really show the techniques really quickly, but today I'm going to break them down for you so that you can watch and learn and get those precise movements down. Some of the things that are difficult is learning the precise maneuvers and movements that make the techniques proper, make them fluid. So just pay attention and we'll get you there. We're going to do all four weapons today: the knife, gunstock, war club, tomahawk, and the spear. So I'm going to break them all down nice and slow, and you'll be able to train with all of them, okay? So first I'm going to start off with the knife, also known as the mokeman, okay? In plains, there used to be a beaver tail dagger, so it would have been double-edged blade, things like that. Just keep in mind that when you're doing this, be slow and precise, like I've said in other videos. It's about accuracy, not speed. Speed will come with time. Just make sure everything you're doing is correct, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to work through this really slowly. I'm just going to go through the 20 movements, okay? And then we'll go back through them a couple times. We'll do it inverted with the ice pick style, and we'll move on to the other weapons, all right? So when you're starting with the knife, okay, you're going to have it in your right hand and your right foot forward, because we always lead with our weapon, okay? So when you're doing your cuts, you're going to start at your top right, going to bottom left. That's 1. Top left, going to bottom right. 2. And across the bottom, 3, 4, up, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is a power thrust, okay? So that's the first 10. Practice those 10, make sure you're getting comfortable with it, and then once you're comfortable with it, then we can start adding the other ones, okay? So here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is make sure that you're using your left hand to block your chest, your heart, and your neck. Okay, because that's how we protect ourselves. You always have that guard up in case something comes. It's better to get cut on your arm than across your neck, obviously, right? Okay. So again, first 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, just so you can see kind of where it's going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we're going to start adding the other ones in. Okay, so as you move through this, you're going to end up switching to your left hand. The switch doesn't happen at 10. Okay, it actually happens at 12, and I'll show you why. So as we're going, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cut back down. 11, 12 is either a cut or a throw to the ground. 12. Switch hands. 13, 14. See how I switch my leg? And then you're coming back up on 15. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So like I said, watch where that leg switch happens. It's really important. It happens on 12, 13, and 14. Okay? So again, starting with right foot forward, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. Switch hands. 13, 14. Left leg comes up. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that's your finish there. Okay? So remember, practice those switches. That's where it really gets hard to watch. You have to make sure you're switching at the right time. It's good to include the leg switches with your cuts, so that way you're coming up with your left foot forward when the knife's in your left hand, because once again, we always lead with the weapon, right? Again, we'll start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So like I said, practice with the legs, make sure you're watching what you're doing, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm not close enough to watch as messages come up, but I'll get back to you as soon as I see them once I finish posting the video. Okay, so we'll go through it one more time in regular position, and we'll kind of go through it a little bit quicker. Not super fast, but just a little bit quicker. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then finished. Okay? The other way we can do this is with an ice pick grip. So an ice pick grip is when you're holding the blade facing out, upside down. Okay? So the idea of this is if you were actually using it as a defensive, you could use it as something to block as well as you can use your cuts. Okay? So keep that in mind. So ice pick grip, same thing, same movements. Okay? So now you know where the movements are going. It's just a little bit different with the ice pick. So with the ice pick, you actually have to turn your body a little more. So it's good to make sure you're loose, that you've done a little warm up before you start doing these, because you do have to get your hips into it a little more. Okay? You want to make sure your blade is following those same lines that we were just following. Okay, so again, ice pick grip. Right hand, right foot forward. What you're going to do, same start point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Again, first 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So that's the first 10. Same way. Okay? Same switch when we're doing it with the ice pick grip is at number 12. So we're going to go through all 20 now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is actually where you could be sticking it in the ground. Okay? Switch grips. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So it's the exact same movements, just a little more hips, and you still got to watch where the blade's going, because now the blade's coming from lower versus up high, right? So the idea is you have to watch where your cuts are being made. Once again, like I said before, it's not about speed, it's about precision, okay? Speed will come in time. The more you practice it, eventually you're able to go through it really quickly, and it's not an issue, right? Like, that's not the problem. The idea is making sure that when you're doing it, it's very precise. You want those blades making clean cuts, right? Clean cuts, nice and straight where you want it to be, okay? If you have a person at home, it's good you can get them to stand in front of you, their arms out, and you can practice where those cuts would be being made, all right? It's a really important thing to do, okay? So one more time, we'll go through a standard grip, and then we'll go through a reverse grip, okay? Ready, right foot forward, standard grip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ice pick. Ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? Oh. So that's how we use the knife, the mokeman. Okay? We also have movements for our tomahawks, our gunstock, and our spear or lance, which I'm going to show you next, is the tomahawk. So the tomahawk has several parts on it, so it's a good thing to know the anatomy of the weapon you're going to be using. So the chikakunis tomahawk has several parts, but what's really important is learning the different parts of the blade, because that's where you're going to make your cuts. So with the tomahawk, you have your butt, your handle, your eye, your spike, your face on either side, your bite, which is the main part of your blade, and then you have a leading edge and following edge. Okay? So your leading edge is the one that would always go first. So if I'm chopping, my leading edge is the front one, my bite, and then my following edge. All of those spots can make cuts depending on what you're doing with your technique. Okay, so you can use the leading edge to hook into something, you can use the bite to just cut through, you can use the following edge to cut back through something. There's all kinds of different things you can use with all parts of the blade. So it's important to know all the different spots where you can be making these cuts, especially when we start going into the technique. So technique, same thing, right foot forward, right? Weapon in your right hand, weapon's always leading. So what you're going to do, same spot. You're going to start in this top right, going down to the bottom. Again, do this slow because it's better to be precise on where your blade is going. Okay? So here we go. Ready? 1, let's cut down. 2, other side. This is where it gets a little tricky, is on your lateral cuts. So number 3, when you come down from 1, 2, you're going to lock your wrist. Number 3 is going to go straight back across. 3, 4, and then you're going to rotate. 5, 6. And then you're going to go up. 7, 8, and you're going to lock your wrist again. 9, 10, flip. 11, 12. Okay? And then we have chops that follow that. But I want to make sure you're caught up to that point before we move on. So again, we'll go through it. Okay, starting top right to bottom left. 1, 2, lock your wrist. 3, 4, flip. 5, 6, up. 7, 8, lock your wrist. 9, 10, flip. 11, 12. Okay? Now comes your chops. So you're going to start side of the head on each side, side of the body on each side, legs on each side. Okay? So 12, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? And that's the 20 movements for the tomahawk. We're going to go through it. There's also 4 finish outs that I'll show you once we get these down. Okay? So again, top right. 1, 2, lock the wrist. 3, 4, flip. 5, 6, up. 7, 8, lock the wrist. 9, 10, flip. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So that's the 20 movements. We'll go through it again. Like I said, the hard part is remembering when to lock your wrist. So when you're doing 1, 2, lock your wrist. Cut with the leading edge. Or here. 3, 4, flip. 5, 6. Right? So the important part with that is you can cut with this edge, you can cut with this edge. So the idea is, if I'm cutting this way, if I'm in a close quarters, maybe when I have a closer grip on my tomahawk, I can still make a cut. Right? It doesn't matter how far you're holding on it, there's always a space where you can cut with. Okay? So we'll go through it again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? The 4 finish outs for this are really simple. Okay? It's based off of how far you're pushing someone. So it's as simple as making distance or not making distance. If I push the person and they only take 1 step back, my finish outs can either be 1 or push 2. Okay? So you're going to make either a step forward, bring it around your head and attack the opposite side, or you're going to push, you're going to burst forward, right? You're going to burst forward, and the tomahawk comes around to the other side. This is part of an idea where if you're coming up one way, people are getting ready to protect one side. So as you come up one way, you're actually attacking the other side. Okay? So again, push, step, 1, push, burst, 2. Okay? 3 and 4 are the same thing. So if you're doing the same kind of movement, but you have to make more distance, you're not going to take multiple steps. You can do a bit of a spin to gain momentum and power. So what you're going to do is you're going to push. The person takes a couple steps back, right? You're going to step just like you did with the first one. Tomahawk's going to come around, then you're going to strike. Okay? Make up a little more distance that way. So again, push, step forward, around, strike. Okay? The other one is to the inside, so you're going to spin forward. So you push them, and as you step forward, you come around this way. Okay, it's all about making distance. So you have to get used to how far you can attack. So if a person's right close in front of you, you only have to take a small burst. If they're further, you might need to make distance. Okay, so once again, just kind of take your time, practice those, do it slow. Like I said, it's really important to get precise with this because anybody can turn, but if you're just whacking someone with the side of the tomahawk, you're not doing it right. Okay, so again, start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Finish at 1. Finish at 2. Finish at 3. And finish at 4. Okay, so that's the tomahawk. There's not much more to show you on that when it comes to the movements. Like I said, just go through the video, take your time. But it's really important, like I said, learn those parts because you're going to use different parts of the tomahawk for different things. Not every tomahawk will have a spike. Some will have a hammer, some just won't have anything, right? So know the tool you're working with. Okay? The next thing we're going to work with is the gunstock war club, or the Untitled Chapter. Okay? So the gunstock war club is a club that's designed to look like the end of a gunstock. Okay? Always usually ends up having at least 1 blade on it, sometimes 3, sometimes more. Okay? What you need to do is be very aware of the blade, especially if you have a live blade like this one. When you're doing certain techniques, you don't want to cut your back or do certain things with it. Okay, so always be very aware of what you're doing. So same thing, these also have parts or different spots that you can be aware of. They do also have a leading and following edge. Okay, they both do still have faces, but this one has an inside elbow. The inside elbow, right? So the inside elbow here, how it's got that curve, is good for blocking. Okay. So what people might think is that you're always going to walk around with the club with the spike facing in. That's not how it works. You're actually holding the club with the inside elbow facing out. Okay? Because you're always going to be able to do blocks and stuff before you're able to strike at someone. Especially if you're dealing with somebody traditionally who had a 6 to 8 foot spear coming running at you. Right? The idea was you'd be able to block and come in and counter. Okay, so that's how it works. So your spike is what this is called. Okay, like I said, you have your inside elbow, your outside elbow with your spike. You have your handle and your hoof. That's what we called it, the hoof. Okay. These are also used as throwing weapons, so it wouldn't be odd to see somebody on horseback come running by and somebody from the ground come up and throw a tomahawk at them as they're running by, or a gunstock at them when they're running by. So it's a really, really good throwing one. We do have videos online if you go and check out the YouTube pages. Master George and myself both throwing these. They're wonderful throwing weapons. So I'm going to go through the movements with you, but I'm going to break it down. So I'm not going to go through the really beautiful swinging motions that we have in some of our videos. I'm going to break it down so you can see where the strikes and the blocks are happening, okay? Because it's really important, I find, when learning the gun stock, to know where those strikes are happening, okay? So we're going to walk through it. So, right foot forward, okay? For those that are using one or have one, okay, you're going to hold it as if you're a batter who bats right, okay? I personally was a left-handed batter, hockey player, everything, so it was a little different getting used to holding it with my right hand up at the top, but it comes naturally once you start moving with it, okay? So your first strikes are going to be a paddle across the person's head. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3 is down, 4 is down, okay? So there's your first 4. Paddle, 1, 2, cross, cross, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? 5 is when you start blocking and countering, okay? So as I said, you're going to use the inside elbow when you're making your blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Block, counter, okay? We're using non-lethal at this point, so we're just using the inside elbow to crush, okay? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Hitting them to the side. 7 blocks to the other side, turn, 8 strikes. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now you've blocked one side, hit the side, block the other side, and then hit the side of the person. Okay, now you're going to go blocking up towards the shoulder strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, I'm still not using the spike. This is all the non-lethal version. This is a crushing version, okay? Once you get past that point, now we start moving into the lethal point with the spike, okay? So again, we'll go through those first ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Now you're going to redo those same last 4 block and strikes, but you're going to start using the lethal edge, the spike. Okay? So, go through again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So the top one's on the top shoulder. 13 is block again, and now you're going to rotate so that you have the spike in. So 13, 14. Okay, other side, 15, 16. So it's just little hand manipulations to get that spike to go from this side to this side. Okay, so again, block, the spike's already kind of pointing towards you now. So it's just a matter of rotating my wrist and getting that power to strike, right, into the side. So again, we'll start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, walk up, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So that's the first 20. The gunstock actually has 33 movements. Okay? So there's a little bit more that goes on to that. That's your first set, basically, of non-lethal and lethal strikes. Okay? We'll continue on, and I'll show you the next ones. They get a little trickier, so we'll go a little bit slower through the next ones. Okay? And from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So you're at 20 here. Okay? The next one is going to be a block, hit low, and bring the spike back up. So I'm going to come a little closer just so you can see this. Okay? So you're at 20, right? Block, hit low, spike back. Okay, so spike there, spike back at them. Okay, so again, right, so you're here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're here, rotate your wrist to grab it, block, swing low, which is a little hit low blow, and spike up top. Right, obviously you hit somebody low, their head's going to come back down, spike goes up into their face. Okay. And then there's a rotation. So number 20 is here, 21, 22, 23, rotate, crush, 24, rotate, spike, 25. Okay? Now you're going to go to the other side, 26, 27, 28. Okay, so spike, 26, 27, 28. Okay, rotate, crush, 29. Rotate, crush, 30. Okay, pull out. 31 is stab to the neck. 32 is a cut one way, and 33 is a cut the other way. Okay, so those cuts, what you want to do is you want to hold on to the gun stock with your hand right at the edge here, so that way you can get a good push. Okay, so push, cut, cut, and you can finish it the same way with the other technique, with the tomahawks. There's the same types of techniques. The difference is where you finish your cuts. So if you're going to start your cut from the right to the left, and from the left to the right, you can use that momentum to come in with the swing, and to finish it with the gun stock. Okay? Again, there's a lot of movements for this. Take your time, go slow, and make sure you're doing it correct. Okay, we'll go through the whole thing one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 with the spike, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, finish it. All right, so that's the gunstock war club, the Notini Tony with stick. Okay. So the last thing we're going to show you, and this is probably going to take some time, is the spear or the lance. So this one I have here is just over 6 feet. Basically, the spears in the plains could go anywhere from 5 feet to 8 feet, some even longer. Okay, so you can imagine I'm 6 feet, so you know it would be not uncommon in the plains to see spears roughly that tall. And the reason being is there's people on horseback. So if you're on horseback, you need a long spear to get people. Same thing with either fighting people on horseback, you want a spear to be able to get them off the horse, right? When we go into the techniques with the spear, it's a little bit more difficult in the sense that you have to watch where the blade is going, because same thing as I was saying with the other weapons, you don't want to just be smacking someone with a blade, especially if you're trying to defend your life, right? So it's really important to watch where your blade is going. So this one's a trainer, it's got a ball on the end, right? And it's got the blades on either side, but they're flat, so it's not going to hurt anyone, so you can practice in class. But the idea is you want to make sure that when you're coming across, you're not coming across flat, you're coming across with your cuts, okay? And the reason being is we had armor as well, right? So we had our breastplates, things like that. We also have ribs, things like that. If you're trying to stab into somebody, you're only going to get so much penetration with your blade facing up. So even though we might hold our weapon with the blade facing up, when we go to strike, we're going to turn the blade sideways so that it would slide through those things. Same thing when we had our knives, right? When we get to the stabbing portions, you always want to make sure that you're turning your knife so that it's sideways so that it can slip in between those breastplates and armor. Okay. So in Okichitaw, with our spear movements, we do have a little teaching that goes along with it. So in the plains, we had our dog soldiers, right? So the dog soldiers were really important guards for our villages. A lot of the times they were the ones that were out scouting, making sure our villages were safe. You'd actually really notice who they were by a long sash that they would wear. Okay, a lot of people know of the hats, the dog soldier hats with the feathers everywhere. But what they didn't know is they had a very long sash, and it would actually drag on the ground behind them when they were walking around. So what they would do, and we add this into our technique just to honor that. What they would do is if they were out and they were walking and patrolling and came across an enemy or several enemies, what they would do is they would stand there, they would turn their sash sideways so that it was behind them, they'd present their weapon, they'd grab it, and they'd stake their sash into the ground and basically say, you're not getting past me, you have to go through me to get anywhere near my village, right? So that they were protecting their village, and then they would pull out their tomahawk and their knife and they'd be ready to fight while their spear was holding their sash behind them, right? So you can imagine you only have so much room to move now because your sash is pegged to the ground, but you're not letting anybody past you, okay? So we actually honor that with the beginning of our technique, okay? As we go through this, it's important to watch my hand grips because it's really important where you're holding it and where you're sliding to, things like that, because it allows your other hand to grab in the correct place. So there's a lot that goes with this, so take your time, okay? So, again, you're standing, okay? Present your weapon, grab it with your other hand upside down, rotate, goes behind you, into the ground, okay? So that's just the beginning, honoring those dog soldiers, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab it, slide your hand down, and go into a crouching position, okay? So now you're real close to the edge. So your first strike is a close strike, 1, okay? You're gonna slide your hand down the shaft. So now I'm grabbing it about halfway down, or a little bit less, okay? Your second strike is from there, 2, so now you're getting closer. As you do this, you start standing up, okay? Your second hand grabs in, other hand slides back, okay? 3, okay? So I haven't let go yet, so I'm here, okay? So 3, okay? 4 is just turning and lunging in, so you haven't stepped into it yet, 4, okay? 5 is when you step in. Okay, so I'm going to go back through those, and then we'll work through it. Like I said, just kind of pay attention. I'm probably going to start a little bit closer to the back of the screen so you can see. Okay, so again, present, grab, rotate, in the ground. Okay, turn, slide down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So again, present, grab, rotate, behind, in the ground, okay? Grab it, slide down, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? 6, you step in, and grab it. So when you grab it, you want both hands like this, okay? You're gonna grab it like this. Okay? So 5, 6, you're gonna sweep. So if anybody was in front of you, you're gonna sweep their leg out and impale. Okay? So again, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Arm goes underneath, pull out the blade, swing it right around. Okay, so you're clearing all this distance. Okay? When you catch it, so when you swing it around, okay, you're going to catch it. You're still going to be facing this way, the blade's going to be behind you. Okay? Rotate as if you're about to throw it. Okay? Because you could throw it at this point. So again, from the beginning, 1, right, present it, down, switch your grip, slide down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now I've got it in my opposite hand. Okay, so 12, you're back down in crouch position, but now it's in your left hand. Okay, so same movements. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, same movements. Now this time you're not going to step forward into it, you're going to step backwards around to it. Okay, so here, okay, flick over, and then clear. Okay, so again, I'll do it from 5. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I'm still facing this way. So after you've cleared, okay, your right leg should be back. The spear goes behind your back, flicks up, dirt, and you finish with a strike. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to count at numbers. I'm just going to go through it one after the other, so it'll be easier with the spear to do it this way. Okay? So that's the spear movements. You can go slowly through this. I'm not going to rush anybody through it, but I did want to go through all the weapons just so that everybody has an idea of exactly how they are used and moved. The idea with the spear though is your grip spot determines a couple things. How close the opponent is to you, right? How much distance you want to keep from the opponent. When you're using a spear against somebody with a tomahawk or a gunstock, be very cautious of where you're holding it. Okay? When I'm using a spear against somebody with a tomahawk or a gunstock, I don't like to go past halfway. There's a reason for that. If I'm holding it the very end to keep my distance, and I strike forward, and they smack it out of the way, it leaves me completely vulnerable. If I have it gripped about halfway, and I'm dealing with somebody with a gunstock, and I strike forward and they hit it out of the way, it creates a gate. So in a sense, they've hit it out of the way, I can grab it and block them and hit them with the opposite side and come back and strike. Okay? So there's a lot that you can do with the spear against those other traditional weapons, but you have to really watch what you're doing. Okay? If it's somebody with a knife, I might want to hold it further back, because for them to get from where they are with a small knife, even if they block it out of the way, I can still recover, right, before they get towards me. All right? So keep that kind of stuff in mind. Practice, practice, practice. I wanted to take this time to break this stuff down for you. Like I said, the Gunstock War Club, that's the broken down version. There's a version with a lot of swinging around the head, things like that. It looks really great, but it's hard to kind of learn. So I wanted to make sure when you guys were learning, you were getting to see where those strikes are hitting. It's even better if I had a partner here, but obviously because of the current situation, we're social distancing. I figured safer not to have somebody here, but just remember those blocks and strikes. And then as you get used to where and the knowledge where those strikes are going, then you can watch some of the other videos of Master George when he's really swinging through it, and you can kind of see where those strikes were actually hitting, right? And then you can get that really fluid motion, all right? Other than that, just practice, practice, practice. Like I said, there's only so much time. I just want to thank all those people that are actually following through with my challenges. I got to thank Cedric. He's the one that kind of inspired me for this challenges. Basically, I just want everybody to try and keep a little bit active. It's not something that's gonna, work up a huge sweat. It's not something that's gonna make you lose tons of weight, but it's gonna keep you a little bit active and keep those muscles engaged. So that way, when we do get back here, the things we do aren't gonna be a big struggle, right? Exercise and health is extremely important in these times, especially when you're cooped up at home all the time. It's a good way to kind of release some of that anxiety, some of that anger, things like that in a healthy way, right? One of the things the Native Center here in Barrie is doing is kind of getting people to find their medicine, right? Find your medicine, hashtag find your medicine. Finding your medicine could be anything. So as Indigenous people, medicine to us is anything that's out there that helps you feel better about yourself, helps protect you, basically keeps anything that might bother you away because you have that with you, right? We all have our medicine bags, things like that. Nobody knows what's in each of our bags because it's different for all of us, right? So your medicine isn't my medicine. My medicine is Okichitaw. My medicine is my students. My medicine is my ceremony, right? I keep other things with me for protection, things like that, gifts, but those are my real medicines, right? Being able to be here and instruct people like you on these types of techniques, things that I learned from Master George and couldn't be more grateful for. So just keep going, find your medicine, stay happy, stay healthy. We'll get through this and we'll get training again shortly. I'm going to try and do some more of these videos as we go on so that way we can teach some basics to some new students that might be just watching for the first time, things like that. So I'm going to come back and I'll do some rolls, things like that, where you can start learning some of the basics so that way when we get through this, you'll be able to come back, join our class, and succeed with the rest of us. All right? Too much. No.